Most people think a salary increase is a step closer to financial freedom. More money, more comfort, more security. But what if I told you that your last raise may have quietly pushed you closer to being broke? Think about it. The month you started earning more, did your stress disappear, or did your expenses magically grow with your income? The new phone felt necessary. The better car felt justified. The frequent eating out felt earned. And yet, at the end of the month, your bank balance still looks painfully familiar. If earning more money is supposed to solve financial problems, why do so many well-paid professionals still live paycheck to paycheck? Here's the uncomfortable truth no one warns you about. A salary increase doesn't automatically make you richer. It often makes you poorer in ways you don't notice until it is too late. Not because you're bad with money, and not because your income isn't enough, but because the moment your salary goes up, your lifestyle starts upgrading itself without your permission. Expenses don't rise suddenly. They slowly settle in, become normal, and then impossible to remove. What felt like a reward quietly turns into a financial trap. This video isn't about blaming you for wanting a better life. You worked hard for that raise, and you deserve comfort. But there's a dangerous pattern happening to millions of people. The more they earn, the more financially stressed they feel. That's not a coincidence. It's a system, a mindset, and a habit loop that most people never question. Today, we're going to uncover why salary increases so often fail to improve your financial reality, how they secretly lock you into higher pressure and lower freedom, and what actually separates people who build wealth from those who just upgrade their lifestyle. This is Money Uncovered, and once you see this, you'll never look at a raise the same way again. When your salary increases, something very subtle happens. Your lifestyle starts adjusting upward almost automatically. Not because you planned it, but because your new income makes old limits feel unnecessary. The phone you were using suddenly feels outdated. The car that worked perfectly fine feels temporary. The place you lived in starts feeling small, even if nothing about it actually changed. This is lifestyle inflation, the process where your spending grows to match your income, leaving you no better off than before. The problem is not one big expense. It's many small upgrades that slowly become normal. Better groceries, more frequent food delivery, slightly more expensive clothes, extra subscriptions, occasional luxury turns into routine spending. Each decision feels harmless on its own, but together they consume the entire raise. You don't feel rich, you just feel adjusted. What makes lifestyle inflation dangerous is that it doesn't feel like financial irresponsibility. It feels like progress. Society celebrates upgrades, not savings. When people see you improving your lifestyle, they assume you're doing well financially. But what they don't see is that your margin for error is shrinking. Your savings rate stays the same or worse, goes down while your obligations increase. Over time, your financial flexibility disappears. A raise that could have built security instead builds dependence. You now need this higher income just to maintain your normal life. Any disruption, a job loss, medical expense, or unexpected bill hits harder than before. You're earning more, but you are also more fragile. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. Lifestyle inflation converts income growth into consumption growth, not wealth growth. And unless you consciously stop it, every future raise will repeat the same cycle: more money in, more money out, and the same financial stress wearing a better outfit. A salary increase doesn't just change how you spend, it changes what you commit to. This is where many people cross the most dangerous line in their financial life. With higher income comes confidence, and with confidence comes long-term obligations, EMIs, loans, subscriptions, contracts, and recurring payments that lock your future income before it even arrives. A new car EMI feels manageable with a higher salary. A bigger house rent seems affordable. Better schools, premium plans, insurance upgrades, multiple streaming services, each one justified by the raise. The issue is not afford today. The issue is rigidity tomorrow. Fixed commitments don't adjust downward when life changes. Once these payments become part of your monthly structure, they are extremely hard to reverse. You can't easily downgrade a lease, exit a loan, or walk away from responsibilities without cost. Your income becomes purely spent. Before the month even begins, your salary already belongs to someone else. This is how raises quietly increase financial pressure. You are no longer working to build options, you're working to sustain obligations. The stress doesn't come from low income, it comes from lack of flexibility. Even a small drop in income now feels like a crisis because your expenses are locked at a higher level. Many people confuse stability with security. In reality, fixed commitments reduce security. True financial strength comes from adaptability, the ability to survive change without panic. When your raise turns into fixed costs, you trade freedom for appearances. The dangerous part is that this trap often feels like maturity and success. But financially, it's the opposite. You haven't upgraded your future, you've mortgaged it. A higher salary gave you permission to say yes to commitments your future self may regret. After a salary increase, spending is rarely just financial, it's emotional. The most common phrase people use is, "I deserve this." And in many ways, they're right. Hard work creates emotional debt, and spending feels like repayment. The problem is when this mindset becomes automatic. Reward spending turns income growth into justification rather than strategy. You worked harder, so you upgrade. You survive stress, so you treat yourself. You compare yourself with peers and feel entitled to the same lifestyle. None of this feels irresponsible. It feels fair. But money doesn't care about fairness. It responds to patterns. And the pattern here is dangerous. Income increases reinforce spending habits instead of correcting them. If you were disorganized with money before the raise, you will be more disorganized after it, just at a higher level. Social pressure amplifies this effect. When friends upgrade, you feel behind. When colleagues improve their lifestyle, standing still feels like failure. You don't want to look like you're earning more but living the same. So spending becomes a signal, not a decision. The result is a financial identity shift. You stop asking, "Is this useful?" and start asking, "Does this match who I am now?" That's when spending becomes emotional maintenance instead of value creation. This is why raises don't fix money problems. They expose them. Income amplifies behavior. Good habits become powerful. Bad habits become expensive. Without awareness, "I deserve this" slowly turns into, "Why am I always short on money?" On paper, a salary increase looks impressive. In reality, the usable portion is much smaller than people expect. Taxes rise with income. Inflation quietly increases prices. Service costs adjust upward. What feels like a 20% raise often translates into a much smaller real gain. Higher tax brackets, reduced benefits, or increased deductions quietly take their share. Meanwhile, inflation erodes purchasing power. The same groceries, fuel, rent, and services cost more each year. Your raise isn't moving you forward, it's helping you stand still. There's also cost creep. Businesses price products based on what people can afford. As incomes rise, prices follow. Convenience becomes more expensive. Efficiency costs money. Time-saving services charge premiums. Your lifestyle becomes smoother but costlier. The mistake people make is budgeting based on gross income, not net reality. They plan upgrades assuming the full raise belongs to them. But the system takes its cut first. What's left has to cover high costs across the board. This creates a psychological disconnect. You earn more but feel poorer. You work harder but save less. The problem isn't effort, it's misunderstanding how money leaks away. Raises don't exist in isolation. They exist inside an economic system designed to absorb them. Without intentional planning, your increased income simply feeds higher taxes, higher prices, and higher expectations. Understanding this isn't pessimism, it's realism. Once you see how much of your raise disappears before it reaches your life, you realize why income alone is a weak strategy for building wealth. The biggest misconception about money is that earning more automatically leads to wealth. It doesn't. Income is temporary. Wealth is what remains after spending stops. And raises focus almost entirely on income, not retention. Wealth is built through controlled gaps, the difference between what you earn and what you spend. If that gap doesn't grow, your future doesn't change. Most people widen their lifestyle instead of their margin. High earners often struggle more than moderate earners because their financial structure is heavier. More commitments, more pressure, more dependence on continuous income. They look successful but feel trapped. True financial progress happens quietly. It shows up as savings, flexibility, reduced stress, and options. It doesn't always look impressive from the outside. That's why it's rare. A salary increase is a tool. Used correctly, it accelerates security. Used unconsciously, it accelerates consumption. The difference isn't intelligence, it's intention. Wealth-focused people treat raises as invisible. They lock savings first, invest consistently, and delay lifestyle changes. Lifestyle-focused people celebrate immediately and adjust later if ever. In the end, the question isn't how much you earn, it's how much control you maintain. A raise that increases your freedom makes you richer. A raise that increases your dependency makes you poorer. Once you understand this, salary increases stop being emotional events and start becoming strategic opportunities. And that shift changes everything. At the end of the day, the problem was never your salary. Earning more money is not a mistake, it is what you do with that increase that decides whether your life gets easier or heavier. A raise can either buy you freedom or quietly trap you into a lifestyle that demands more effort, more stress, and more dependence every single month. If your income goes up but your flexibility goes down, you're not moving forward, you're just standing on a more expensive treadmill. The real shift happens when you stop treating salary increases as permission to upgrade everything and start using them as a chance to strengthen your future. Wealth isn't about how impressive your life looks today. It's about how safe, calm, and flexible your life can be tomorrow. The moment you control lifestyle inflation, limit fixed commitments, and protect your margin, money stops feeling tight even without chasing the next raise. So before your next salary increase arrives, ask yourself one honest question. Will this money improve my freedom or just my lifestyle? That single decision can separate years of financial stress from long-term stability. If this video helped you see money differently, hit the like button. It tells YouTube this conversation matters. Subscribe to Money Uncovered for honest financial truths that most people learn too late. And share this video with someone who just got a raise. They might thank you later.